When you think about epic racetracks, you think of Mount Panorama, Bathurst. It's a circuit that has plenty of character and demands the utmost respect. From the moment the flag drops on pit straight, you charge through Hill Corner and up the mountain at a rapid pace. The climb to the top is a twisty, undulating affair. Before you reach skyline, more than 170 metres above where you started. No time to check out the scenery though. Then it's the descent, manhandling your way through the maze of corners that is the Esses, the Dipper, and ultimately to Forest's Elbow. From there, you open the taps and run down Conrod at 270 kilometres an hour, where before you know it, it's through the fastest corner in our sport at the Chase. And if you're close enough, and if you're brave enough, you can slip past your opposition and gain a spot or two. Then you hit the repeat button and keep it on for 6 straight hours. But don't lose your focus. This place is extremely unforgiving. The old adage, win on Sunday, sell on Monday, had its genesis right here. But then again, so did much of our sport. This Easter marks 80 years since wheels first turned on this most hallowed racing ground. Today, 62 cars representing 17 brands and 150 drivers across 7 classes have converged on the mountain for the ultimate showroom showdown. This is the High-Tech Oils Bathurst 6 Hour. Several cars unfortunately withdrawn after the dramas yesterday. You can see some of the Class E runners rounding out our field, and Gillian Scott in their Lancer starting right from the very back of the field due to change that year. So reliability will play a role, as will the usual Bathurst attrition, but perhaps not so much as you might think for a race like that.
Traffic at James Goldborough in the 87. That's the Hyundai Getz is the first to go a lap down. Then the Swift is the next one to go by. That's Nick Huff behind the wheel of that. Excuse me, it's not. It's Michael Hopp behind the wheel of the 55 car. So they've already gone a lap down, but no.
Cannot be touched, and our fantastic race officials, so many volunteers, more than 300 of them go past the control line. They'll form up. It will be a single file restart as if they were ending a safety car period. The rules for that are the safety car will turn its lights off on Conrod Straight. It will accelerate away from the field. The leader will then assume control and must maintain that pace until the race goes green. You can overlap but not overtake from the exits.
The aircon, the TV and everything else. No, they have, of course they've done that. But that is an insanely first safety car period there.
Away from the Turbo 4 in the AMG, and now significantly pulling away when they get to the top end. It's about 15 going to break on the run to the cutting. That's the right side of that kink to do it, isn't it? Because it's completely blind on the other side. It's an extraordinary bit of road, and how that funnels down and narrows with the big cliff face on the left-hand side as you're running up into the cutting.
Exactly, and to be honest, I don't think the video does it justice. You know, what we see here today on the TV camera, you know, you actually walk the track for yourself, and by the time you get to turn 3, absolutely stuffed.
Circuit
there, I'd say.
And if you missed,
not bad for an Englishman. The BMW versus
moment before with Stevie J hugging each other, and you know now he's jumping in the car, so he's got that helmet on pretty quick. But fortunately, they've had that issue under safety cars, so they have probably got away with that a little bit, but certainly not ideal.
Do you find yourself having many bromance moments in the supercar paddock?
I don't have a lot of friends, so
no. Either too much sun, too much coffee, or staying up too late, or maybe an adult beverage, or few too many. But no, it's out there, it's running, and it is circulating, and it's doing quite good. Another flatbed needed for further end. Just up the hill on the left, there's another one. The people were sort of talking about the heat cruelty and trying to play it down a little bit, but the heat is obviously playing a part here. Lots of people now in race conditions talking about overheating, and you know, the longest they've run in the sessions.
You know, maybe the track is starting to grip up.
The field sorts himself out
on Conrod Straight. Shown leading is Brett Howard in car 69, which is that Class Speed 2 leading Holden Commodore, but that might not actually be right. A1 class leaderboard still has Danny Studdard behind the wheel of car 83. That's the car that Steve Owen drove earlier. They've had a very good day so far, and there it is in the queue just in front of that green and black BMW. Paul Iacono next in second and Rob Woods third. So Rob is behind the wheel of car 29. That's that Stephen Johnson driven AMG.
And that's confirmed because Brett Howard's just come out of the pits in that 69. He crossed the line at the end of the last lap to be scored as the leader, or at least that car did, but he's actually on his way around to join the back of this line of cars. So it will be the 83 car, Daniel Studdard, that will be scored as the leader as it comes round, and he will be the leader as we go back to green after this 5th safety car period.
Yeah, so it's a quite jumbled field from what we expected, which was great. The fact that a Suzuki Swift is going to lead the field to the green flag.
Followed by a Nissan Pulsar.
This is going to be a traffic jam because they can overlap but not overtake until they get to the control line, which is under the High-Tech Oils Bridge here on Pit Straight. So that little Suzuki will need to wind itself up as hard as it can to just get to the line before it gets mugged by all these four-wheel drive turbos that are lining up behind it. Now it can be passed. Now we've got the green flag and we're back to racing. And the field spreads as they run down towards turn one. The BMW car number 4 looking down the inside. They're a long way down the order. It's Andrew Fisher behind the wheel, just unlapping himself once from...
I suppose the Mercedes-Benz still all-wheel drive, the AMG A45 up into second position for the number 29 car. And again, the traffic playing such a part. Ian Sherrin has cleared himself of that gaggle of traffic. Safe as houses down there as well. It's Richard Creel and John Hindhoff in the booth for you. As
today, a lot of the cars have been struggling. How's it affecting your car?
Yeah, the heat's not. It's not ideal. Obviously, it pulls back timing and power and up and down the hills, which is not good, and you can't drive it.
Mercedes AMG that, which we heard happened to Jeremy Gray in the big FPV Falcon as well. And there's just nothing you can do. It's the most frustrating thing. It's terrible when it happens in road conditions, but can't imagine what it's like in a motor race when you're trying to drive at 10 tenths and all the car will give you is half a tenth. When it's
so many of the systems, Crailsey, are interlinked.
It's not even MPS version, it's the SP25.
Really?
So it's not the full ball fast one.
And they've had no issues at all. They are 7 laps up on the competition. Keep it clean, keep it going.
George has been down.
5 Mercedes in the number 5 M Coupe. That he's been down 3 times, and the first car that's done all of its stops is Rod Salmon in the number 6, sitting in 9th position. Now they've done all 4 of their compulsory stops. Buttons.
It's
and probably a bit of swearing, frankly.
Yes, I would have thought so. It's still so fast. This stint at the moment.
He's been out there 2 hours and 14 minutes. Yeah. He's got to come in shortly.
He'll be in there soon. That's the driver's stint length, but since they put fuel in that car, would have been race team. If they have, we'll confirm that for you. The margin 1.3 between the 2 BMWs. If it comes down to a raw fight between them, I'm interested to see what that Sharon Rentals car's got up its sleeve, because I don't think at any point this weekend we've seen its full performance potential. And even after qualifying, they said, yeah, we threw a quali setup at it. You wouldn't drive in the race with that by any extent, but we probably didn't drive it as hard as it could have been driven.
We sure do.
Do you know what? I think I'll just toddle off home at this point.
Well, Craig Baird was reasonably keen to go over to the chicane bar and grill at Bridges, not too far past the chase, and perhaps indulge, knowing that Garth Walden can bring the car home now. So they're 14th, actually, incident at the Mitsubishi, so they're putting fronts on first.
But this doesn't have to be a full-time stop, I don't think. They've done the rear hatch is open, Crailsey.
And car 27's just been black flagged. So they're all trying to avoid this, and they're going to have more dramas. It's going to bounce across and...
With Lee Burgess, who's the 6 BMW, who's just ahead of him. It's the black and yellow car from the front. It's got a bit of red. Oh, there's a car ahead. Could be a factor. No, it's not going to be. And he just couldn't hold on to it. But now we'll get the run.
29-1.
And just a bit of extra drama in one of the combat classes. The E-class leader, Mark Griffith, in the Echo, coughing and spluttering. That was the slow car that the leaders went by last time around, all the way up Mountain Straight. That car, which is just on the verge of the top 32nd position, and the E-Class leader for quite a long time now is struggling in the last few minutes of the race. That car will be heading on to its last lap this next time around, but will it actually make the finish?
For Sharon Rentals Racing, reigning Australian production car champions, Johnson doing everything he can to defend from this BMW 1M. There's the leader, past the Suzuki Swift. Here is the fight for second and third. Johnson flashing the lights. Let the lap traffic know he's there.
He does not want to be held up at all here, because the BMW is very, very strong from Griffin's right over the top, and they're side by side as they head towards the cutting. The Suzuki Swift might be a little bit of a blocky car, and he's nodding through. And second place goes through. He had to lift. Steve Johnson had to lift because of the Suzuki. Nothing that the Suzuki could do, stayed on his line, but that was an audacious pulling out of technical. At the end of this race, they've worked hard for that one.
They were late dropping the flag there on the Sherons as they crossed the line.